You know it's bad for you. You've known for a long time. Your friends have told you. Your family has told you. Some part of you has told you. And yet you stay, or you leave and go back, or you spend months thinking about them even after it's over, unable to fully let go of someone who hurt you repeatedly. You're not weak. You're not stupid. You're not crazy. You're trauma bonded. And what's happening in your brain is far more powerful than willpower or logic. Today, we decode exactly what trauma bonding is, why it happens, and what it actually takes to break free. Welcome to MindFrame Lab, where we decode human behavior. Trauma bonding is one of the most misunderstood phenomena in psychology. From the outside, it looks like a choice. It looks like someone choosing to stay with a person who hurts them. But from the inside, it feels like anything but a choice. The bond created by abuse, particularly abuse that alternates with warmth and affection, can be stronger than bonds formed in healthy relationships. Understanding why is the first step to breaking free. Trauma bonding was first described by psychologist Patrick Carnes, who used it to explain the powerful emotional attachment that can form between an abuse victim and their abuser. It happens through a specific cycle. Tension builds, abuse occurs, the abuser shows remorse or affection, a honeymoon period follows, and then tension builds again. This cycle, sometimes called the cycle of abuse, creates a neurological pattern that is extraordinarily difficult to break. Here's why. Every time the abuser returns to warmth after a period of coldness or cruelty, your brain releases a flood of dopamine. The relief of reconnection after threat activates the same reward pathways as addictive substances. You are not imagining the intensity of that feeling. It is chemically real. Over time, your nervous system becomes calibrated to this cycle. The threat of abandonment or anger becomes a trigger. The return of affection becomes the reward. And your entire emotional system organizes itself around managing that cycle, trying to avoid the threat and secure the reward. This is not love, but it feels like the most intense version of love you have ever experienced, and that is precisely what makes it so hard to leave. There are several reasons why leaving a trauma bond feels almost impossible, even when you know intellectually that you should. The first is biochemical dependency. Research shows that the stress hormones released during the abuse phases, cortisol and adrenaline, combined with the dopamine released during reconciliation, create a chemical cycle that mirrors addiction. Leaving doesn't just feel emotionally painful, it feels like withdrawal. The absence of the person creates a physical craving that logic cannot override. The second reason is identity erosion. In long-term abusive relationships, the victim's sense of self becomes intertwined with the relationship. Who are you without this person? What does your life look like? The abuse has often dismantled your confidence, your social connections, and your ability to trust your own judgment, leaving you feeling incapable of existing independently. The third reason is intermittent reinforcement, which we have discussed in previous videos. The unpredictability of the abuser's behavior, never knowing when the warmth will return, creates the same neurological hook as a slot machine. The possibility of the reward keeps you engaged far more powerfully than a consistent reward ever could. The fourth reason is trauma-based loyalty. During the intense early phases of the relationship, the love bombing, the feeling of being uniquely understood, a deep bond was formed. That bond doesn't disappear when the abuse starts. It coexists with it, creating a constant internal conflict between the person who hurt you and the person you fell in love with. The tragedy is that in many cases, the person you fell in love with was never fully real. Breaking a trauma bond is not a decision. It is a process, and it requires more than just wanting to leave. The first step is understanding what you are dealing with. The fact that you are reading or watching this is significant. Naming the pattern, trauma bonding, removes some of its power. It shifts the narrative from "I am weak and choosing to stay" to "I am experiencing a documented psychological response to abuse." That shift matters enormously for your capacity to heal. The second step is no contact, or as close to it as your circumstances allow. Every interaction with the abuser resets the neurological cycle. Every message, every check of their social media, every conversation re-stimulates the pattern. The brain needs extended time without the stimulus to begin recalibrating. This is genuinely one of the hardest things a person can do, because the withdrawal is real. The craving is real. Anticipating this and having a plan for managing it through therapy, through trusted people, through physical activity, through anything that regulates your nervous system is essential. The third step is rebuilding your sense of self independently. Trauma bonding dismantles your identity. Recovery means reconstructing it, slowly, deliberately, through experiences that remind you who you are outside of this relationship. What do you value? What brings you peace? What does life feel like when you are not in a constant state of threat and relief? This takes time, more time than most people expect. But the person you were before the bond, or a stronger version of them, is still there. If you are in a trauma bond right now, I want you to hear this clearly. What you are feeling is not weakness. It is not a stupidity. It is not a character flaw. It is your nervous system responding to an environment it was conditioned to survive in. You did not choose this, but you can choose what comes next. The first step is the hardest, but it starts with exactly what you're doing right now, understanding what is happening to you. If this video helped you make sense of something you've been struggling to explain, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to MindFrame Lab for more decoded human behavior every week. See you in the next one.